Akash. So, welcome to Global Influencers Hub. Here we talk about the life journeys of social media influencers. And we cannot wait to deep dive into yours. What I mean by deep dive is actually taking you back to your childhood. So, let's first start with where it all began. So, tell us about your childhood.
So, uh, about my childhood, see, I'll tell you. So if you talk about my parents, right, you would be wondering how did Akash become a dog behaviorist or into dogs? Because if you look at my parents, my mother and father, they're not much of uh, dog
Pet
lovers.
lovers.
They're not much of dogs. Like they are neutral. Like okay, you've kept dogs, so okay, we are okay with it. Now, when my uh, uh, because of whom the journey started, I'll talk about it later. When she passed away recently, my mom stopped, right? Because then that family connect happens. But then if I tell them, okay, go and pick up another dog, they would not. They're not like that. From my uh, Masi's side, my mom's sister, right? They are crazy avid dog lovers, than a lot of people in our family. So what happened is back then when I was born, so I was born here where I'm sitting right now, which is
Oh,
Samanpadi uh,
okay. Okay.
district. So I have a lot of deep connection with this place. I was born here, I was brought up in Mumbai. This is my mom's place. So my mom and my sister had rescued an indie back then in their day before their marriage. So it was like I think under a week old indie, So they have the garage right below where I'm sitting right now. We have our garage, so the cars are parked over there. So back then it was crazy monsoon, and that one little puppy was below the car. And when they just started the ignition, they started hearing this whimpering sound coming from below and there was no mother to be found. So definitely the puppy got left behind. And
Of course.
yeah, and so then they raised the puppy, like, and that time, no veterinary care, nothing. This is an old town. They used to feed using cotton, this thing, and milk diluted into it, and a lot of things that they did, and they raised the doggo. So he lived, I think, approximately good 14, 15 years. And by the time he was in his 13th year, I was born. Yeah. So I have no direct memory of his, but I'm sure because I remember my parents telling me, my masi telling me that you would be in your crib or you would be below and he would be around you. He would be in your space. He would guard you, like not guard in an aggressive manner, but be protective of you and all of that. And I used to interact with him. So I'm sure something has a little bit, some connection definitely started from there. And
Wow.
and
Wow. Okay.
things kept happening. But I think that first connection is definitely
That
from.
is, yeah, that is surreal, I must say. I
Yeah,
think, and the very fact that you also see it as that,
yeah,
that's quite profound. Wonderful, wonderful. So that's how it all began, you
yeah.
think?
I think that's how it all began. That's how subconsciously I got that imprint.
Interesting. Yeah, because none of your parents were there. So, I mean, I'm sure that they must have figured it. Of course, of course. Wonderful. So, was there a specific moment that you thought that this is something you want to pursue in a career as well, in a career shape form as well?
So I'll tell you. See, we belong to a family background, right, where like people are highly educated. Doctors, engineers, some scientists. People are abroad studying and all that. So we have this typical mindset that you have to finish your education, get into a good profession, right? And this is a very unconventional niche. Like something that you may be pursuing as a hobby or as a passion, but nothing like a real time business. So
Exactly.
yeah, so that's what I was always told, and that's how things were always, right? So when I started this approximately 13 or 14 years back, where it all began because of my current dog, who I said, my late dog, Sweetie. We rescued her again and indeed. One of our relatives just picked her up from the streets somewhere near a temple, and they were like, okay, take this dog. You always talk about dogs. And I always used to feed our streeties out there. I used to just stand in between, get those small dog biscuits. We used to get those. Those are basically human biscuits only, but I think they had less sugar in them. Like Parle-G had a lot of sugar.
Okay. Okay.
Biscuits had less
Okay.
sugar. So we used to bring that and just feed them and play with them and all of that stuff. I used to pick one of the puppy, but family never used to really, allow me to go through with it. Now here I must be what, 11, 12 years of age, 12 years of age. So I think they might have thought that I've pretty much maybe in those teenage days. So I think we can handle it. So that papa came in, and she met with an accident, which was not a terrific accident where she would like where she got really badly hurt. It was just a small injury on her paw. A scooty ran over her basically when she was down, and it was a whole individual. It was a very very minor thing, but it left a very bad psychological impact. Like she would not step out of the house. She would not even want to walk out of the house, and all those kind of trauma scenarios got created, and we were completely clueless. Like before that, I was always inclined towards dog training and watching, because we just a couple of years back we got a internet and YouTube and all of that, right? So that time I used to watch all these videos, like how can you communicate with a dog. Like I'll tell you, I was this naive as a kid, right? I would ask my mother that, see, those are the street, and this I remember very well, like those are the indies out there. See, they are talking like how we are talking. They also might be talking in some way, right? They might linguistic, and you just know
Huh.
it. So now I know it's not a human-like language, but now I know how they talk. So anyway, backtracking, when all this happened, I started researching about what I can do to make her life better, and we were not able to find any good people to help us out. Like we called couple of trainers, where one of them had an approach where they would use a stick. Obviously, they were not hitting her, but they were like kind of trying to push her to
Fear,
walk.
fear, I think. Yeah.
To use a lot of fear into it, right? Like I
Huh.
do understand now as a professional that there needs to be a balance of pressure and release, but you cannot use fear as a medium, right?
No,
You know,
no, no. Yeah.
it's divided into good stressors and bad stressors, but this was really
Mm.
bad. And we were like, okay, she's more scared, she was still scared. Why would I even do that? So that we stopped. Then we had another trainer back in the day, came from a very reputed place. But they had a point of view that she's not at all food motivated. She's very sensitive. She's got a super high level of trauma. This may go, this may never go. You have your individual apartment, so you have your own terrace. They gave us strategies that how I can keep her engaged. Not convinced. I was like, come on. And they also gave, like, a second option was to give her medications, which was like Prozacs or antidepressants,
Mm,
right? So
mm,
that would help her
mm.
calm, which was because my parents being doctors, they were also against it. Like, we don't want to feed a 1 year, not even a year, like a 4 5 month old puppy, all this kind of medicines, and ruin her life, her quality of life. And I wasn't convinced because I had this thought, right, that I've got a puppy, I would take her out, I would walk with her. We had a new jogging track that was built behind our house. So I would go over there, have all the social life. So then I
Mm.
started my own research. I started looking at what I can do, how I can make it better, and all of that. And I'll tell you, somehow universe works in mysterious ways. I was when I was not looking for it. Okay, like I looked for it like for a couple of months. I didn't find anything. But when I was at one of my cousin's place back in Bombay only, and we were going through most aggressive breeds, because back then I was also fancied a little bit about breeds. Like how many breeds are there in the world, how they are.
Right, right, right. Because you're deep diving into the whole thing, anyways. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I used to walk into all the veterinary clinics, right, or pet shops, you would always have that breed chart over there. So that was something which was very fancy for me. So while searching most aggressive breeds, we came across one video of a gentleman called Caesar Milan, if you've heard of him. So back in the day, he had called Dog Whisperer. Obviously, there were a few controversies revolving around it, but I think we can. But that one video which was a feature episode, I think, of Net Geo, most aggressive breeds, and they had run a poll, and then I was waiting. They showed 3 4 cases of different, like Rottweilers, Pit Bulls, German Shepherds, and then we were waiting at the end. Like every video had top 10, so they had number one. This video at the end, this person comes out and says, "No breed is aggressive. It's the human behind the dog. The human needs
Oh,
it."
wow.
There was this,
Wow.
like my entire life turned upside down. I was like, what
That's
is this person talking about?
wow.
Back in the day here in India, at least from the people that I interacted, nobody spoke of this. Everyone was just talking about the dog. Everyone was talking about how the dog needs to do things or how the dog needs to be trained. Nobody was talking that what we were doing wrong, how the communication was going wrong, how the fulfillment needs to be done, or what dog needs or pack. How does the power of the pack works? So how can a pack
Mm.
help the other dog? So that's when
Right.
I deep dived into what Cesar Milan is doing, what his methodologies are, how he is. So then I put myself into like the entire year, I would say 8 months to 10 months into research. So I downloaded all his videos, all his workshop videos, all the reading material, everything that I could get my hands on. I started utilizing that in a way which obviously I would not recommend it to anyone at the moment as a professional. But that time I was a kid, right? I didn't know better. I started utilizing it by volunteering at various NGOs. So I would walk their dogs, I would sit with the dogs, I would, read them, study them, see what I'd made the notes. Is it matching? Is it making sense? Is there any logic to what this guy was saying? Right. So then it
Yeah.
started. The piece of the puzzle started getting filled in, and then I realized that okay, there is a uh, that dead end that I'm hitting with her, which would get solved by
Hmm.
utilizing the pack, and that's where I got my other dog, which was one of my friends' female lab had given birth. Again, back then we didn't know so many things about how breeding and all those things work. I just wanted a typical middle of the. So there are hierarchies. There are basically personality testing now that we do, right? So there's something called
Mhm.
as middle of the pack personality, which is a very happy-go-lucky personality. It's a personality which is, always jolly, always in a play mood, always in a good mood. And there are various energy levels: low, medium, high, hyper, or very high. So I wanted someone between medium to low because my sweetie was medium to high. So I wanted someone matching but not
But
overwhelming
a
for.
little lower. Yeah, yeah.
I selected the puppy based on that. I obviously met the puppy with my sweetie, and obviously it clicked. Obviously, she was a little bit reluctant at the start. She was also curious, but she had her apprehension because someone new is in my territory. But within a couple of weeks, they were like best of buds. Almost like she's the mother, that one is the kid. But then I invested my 6 months into training him with the new knowledge I had.
Okay. Now you didn't go through any formal
Oh,
training or anything. It was just like all
yes.
like self done. Wonderful. Okay. Okay.
It happened. I tried doing that also. I would not take names right now, but whenever I approached anyone in India, right, everyone had their own apprehensions of Caesar Milan. And see, right now I use various methodologies. Like it's a huge topic in itself to discuss otherwise. But what I didn't like as the approach of people, right, that they were bad mouthing someone, right?
Hmm.
They were completely like blocking me or telling me that this is absolutely wrong. If you want to do this, you only have to listen to us. And I was like,
Oh.
that's not how I have an open-minded approach, right? Even today, if there is someone from the other spectrum of training comes and tells me, okay, this is how it works, I'd be like, okay, fine, it may work. I will also try it out. If I feel this is working, I would also try it out in my methods, right? Because
Absolutely. Absolutely.
approach, right? You need to
Yeah.
have an
Yeah.
open approach. So that's one thing I didn't like, and then I was like, okay, let me see, because there was nothing as such to lose, right? Because I wasn't doing any kind of hitting or any kind of pepper spray method or any kind of those kind of things were not involved. So it was all just body language, all how to use the leash technique and all of that stuff. And that's how after 6 months, within 4 or 5 months only of Lucky's life, that his name was Lucky because he was literally lucky for us. She started walking out, and she started stepping out. She started enjoying her walk. She started taking influence from him, and to a point where obviously her being very sensitive, right, and us living on a very like middle of the city, the jogging track also didn't had any fence. So what I would do is, Lucky was cool, so he could be left off leash. What I used to do is attach his leash to hers, and then both would walk together, and I would
Oh
hand.
wow. Okay.
And that's where people started approaching on the jogging track. Ki, what did you do? Because it's a small community, right? It's a tight knit small community. Back then, it was even smaller. So people used to
Hmm.
see the struggle. This one kid who's holding the leash. I tried harnesses, I tried collars, I tried different types of leash, different types of tools, different types of treats, everything I tried, right? But it was I then realized it was not about the tools or the treats. It was how my approach was and what she also needed, right? She also needed some comforting hand, which I was probably not able to provide. Another dog came and provided that for her. Right. So it
Love
was
is the language I think everyone responds to.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Love and leadership, definitely. She needed
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah. Both, both, both.
items,
Right,
right? So for
right.
both of us it was similar. And that's how people started approaching that. What did you do? Whom did you approach? Because the most common issue that I think almost 90% of pet parents even today face is leash pulling. A lot of people don't know how to walk their dogs, right?
Okay. Okay.
Comfortable business for a lot of people, because if the dog is pulling constantly, then that constant pulling is very uncomfortable for people on the walk, especially in the city areas, traffic areas. Then that constant
Mm.
pulling creates agitation, creates a lot of opposition reflex. Then you put that same dog on a harness. Harness creates more pressure, more agitation if you don't know what you're doing. And then the dog becomes reactive. So a lot of
So do
people,
you think that is one of the most common mistakes that pet parents make, like dog parents make?
if you
Like,
say after getting a
don't.
pup, yes, if you say after getting a puppy, it is one of the most common mistakes that pet parents do, that they don't know how to communicate using a leash, right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
that actually started helping people with. So I became their a dog walker, dog trainer, a walking trainer kind of a thing at back then. No money, pro bono, just a fun thing. I was also gaining experience out of it. I was gaining fun out of it personally.
Of
I was
course.
enjoying
Of,
while doing it.
yeah. Yeah.
Right. I would simply walk into somebody's house. I would say, "Your dogs are barking too much. Do you want me to calm them down?" And they would just see, okay, it's just a 14, 13-year-old kid, 14-year-old kid. करने दो जो करता है. Right. That
Oh.
right. So that's how everything began. Then I started volunteering with various NGOs. I started helping them out during my vacations, and that's how I started gaining experience. Till the point that I finished my college professionally, I'm a hotel management graduate, and I was just about to get into Oberoi's corporate, their management
Okay.
program, and lockdown happened.
Okay.
Yeah. So till then, everything was passion. Everything was okay. I'll do my work. I'll do something professionally. I'll because I wanted to do MBA and I wanted to get into business aspect of. But lockdown happened. They told us that you're not welcomed anymore. You'll have to wait. And
Yeah, yeah.
my nani was staying with us back then during the lockdown. So 2 months down the line, she was like, "You're just sitting, whiling away your time, eating, watching Netflix. Do something." And she reminded me that you had a page called Aggressive Dog, because back then I had a page called Aggressive Dog on Facebook where I used to do pro bono work, or I used to charge like a little bit, $500, $1,000, right? Like that. But then she told me, start it again. That's how I opened up a new Instagram page, changed the name to Dog Mantra, and then the rest is what's happening right now. So
Wow.
even
So we want to hear about the rest is what's happening as well. Like, so
so from there the professional aspect of it started, because then I again gave another year of the entire lockdown to study the new elements into the industry, read the new researches, what things have changed, what things are happening. And because I already had a lot of material, like we had those
right.
tripod camera and old, so
Yeah.
I had a lot of
Yeah.
content that I already had with me. So I started making some YouTube videos. I started posting videos and photos and posts on Instagram, and I started gaining clients because people anyway had the issue. We couldn't go to their place; they couldn't come to meet us. So I started helping them online. Again, had no formal understanding of how things would go online. I was just confident that because it's people training, let's give it a shot, right? And people are also like, okay, let's give it a shot. And that's how we started helping them through like how we are sitting and talking. I would sit and talk. They would just need a stable internet connection, earpiece. This is something that we even do now. And they would have to just follow my instructions. And from there, we started clients. And then the first lockdown opened up. And then I started stepping out. Then second lockdown happened. Then I started stepping out after that. And then we started formalizing things, got dog mantra registered with the government of Maharashtra and all of that, and then I think 2022 we also got professional membership of International Association of Canine Professionals. So then I completely got into it from 21st, 2021 end. That's when I decided. Even then I was because of my parents and family telling me that still keep looking for jobs in case, just in case, So I was still looking for it, but then 21 end I decided that no, I'm gonna do this.
What
And
was their reaction? Were they supportive? What was it?
they have always been supportive. They were just a little, reluctant, like every parent would be. Me being an only child, that how would I fend for myself or how would I do things? They've not had any those kind of pressure or expectations that I need to do this, I need to do that. So in that way, I'm really blessed. Uh,
Of course, of
yeah.
course.
But they had their reluctance, they had their hesitation, and I wouldn't blame them for it.
No,
Uh,
because it's a little different kind of profession, People are not really used to it as
yeah.
such. Yeah.
And by the time I decided that I'm going to do it full time, they also saw scope into it, and they
Right.
saw, okay,
Right.
he's making an earning out of it. Things are
Hmm.
going. So then they were okay with it, and then now it's full time.
Wonderful. So what does your typical day look like?
So my typical day, if you say when I'm back in Bombay, it's basically I have to get up in the morning. I'm not much of a very morning person, but the days that I keep morning sessions, I wake up pretty early, like 5 or 6 o'clock, and then I have sessions. Earlier, we used to do 5 to 6 sessions in a day. Now we've cut it down to 3 to 4 sessions because each session goes for approximately 2 hours or sometimes even more. So I have to get
Wow.
up, get ready, travel. Ideally, we'll keep travel if we are going, say, south of Bombay, right? So we would
Hmm.
have sessions which are on that southern side of Bombay. So if I
Okay.
from the
Okay.
Thane, because I stay in Thane, so then I'll keep it like that, so the traveling becomes a little easier.
Okay.
Then I have my breakfast. A lot of times when I'm traveling and doing sessions, I would not have my lunch. Then evening, I'm back by 7, 8 ish. I'm back, and then have dinner and go to sleep. That's how my average training day looks like. And the days that when we don't keep training, it goes into planning, content creation, and all of that. So those days, it typically starts a little later, like till 9 ish. We start the day, 9 ish, 9:30 ish. 10 o'clock we would have shoots. 10, 10:30, 11, 12. It can go up to till evening also. Then evening approximately 4 to 6 we would do ideation of what we have to do next, how things are. We would also discuss. So my partner Kushi, who handles the backend now, so we would sit and discuss how to, like what sessions are pending, what needs to be looked at, what all things need to be done, what are the new potential clients. We have this assessment process. So if there are any people who send videos for assessment, we do that, right? And then we end the day again by 7, 8 ish.
Wow. Okay. So can you share one of the most like memorable moments with your any of the dog cases or like a challenging one?
So I would. There are two actually. One is which is something that I have a little bit of I wouldn't say regret, but I felt really sad for that dog because that was the dog who also gave me a trauma back in 2015. Yeah, 15. Because this, I don't know if you all can see this. There is this whole scar here. So this flesh
Yes, I
was
can see
out
it. Oh,
from
wow.
here, and here his canines had dug in. So what happened is I went to their place. So I used to work with NGOs, right? So then one of the NGOs, like I always say, there are angels in your life who come and teach you things, right? So this My Pal Club NGO, which is run by Aditi Nair, she came in my life like an angel. So she helped me actually because I gained all my experience of dogs with various NGOs handling their dogs, but she actually allowed me to take experience with people. So
Wow. Okay.
she told me that you can come up and join our adoption team and be with our team, and she believed in me somehow and trusted me that I could handle the people, talk to them as a behaviorist, even though I was just an amateur back then, with age also and with experience also. So that really helped. So we had gone to this one place where they had rescued a puppy, or I think bought it from somewhere, which was a lab pit bull and D mix. And this particular puppy was very hyperactive. And I warned them back in the day, as it was a 3 month old puppy, 4 month old puppy, that if you control this hyperactivity, he would definitely turn into a territorial, insecure, reactive dog. And that happened. 6 months later, that same person gives me a call because he had taken my number as a behaviorist. He says, aggressive ho gaya. He's become aggressive. Okay. He was not willing to tell me. I mean, these things we learn from trial and error as well. That time I didn't have any formal way of screening, assessing, and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Come
Correct.
and
Yeah.
see what is happening. So I went to his place, and now this were typical Mumbai houses, right? Chawl system. So it was a very small house for this big dog that was staying. At the same time, no outlet because there were a pack of indies out there. They were not even walking in. So it was creating a lot of accumulation. So I went in.
Correct.
He approached me in a very hyper manner. I ignored him because that's what we tell people whenever we meet the dogs for the first time. Do not interact with him immediately, right? Let the dog sniff you, let him do all this kind of things. Then I sat on the couch. That was my first mistake. I shouldn't have sat down. I sat, he came back to me and he stood on my lap like this. Now, the way he stood, right? Now, there are, because of the way we've been working with so many dogs, right? There is an instinctual response that you come to know, right? That the vibe is wrong. So that time I felt that tension. I knew he's going to throw a bite if I moved
Oh,
seconds. So instead of my face taking the damage, I held the collar with both my hands and my hands took the damage.
oh, oh,
Right.
wow.
So this got out, that's how this. And at that time, I didn't feel any pain because the adrenaline was so high. Most of the bites that we've gone through, after that, now we've gone through a lot of bite incidences, but not such severe ones. But you don't feel pain at that time because your adrenaline is pumping high at that time, right?
Wow.
Pain is
Okay.
so blood everywhere in his room. I held him for like it would be few seconds. Then I pushed him back. When I pushed him, then he moved away because then he saw that I'm not backing off. Then he became a little nervous. He became a little scared that what the hell is happening. He became confused because people usually back off. And then he went in a corner. That person tied him immediately, clamped me up and everything. Went home for almost 10-15 days. My hands were like wrapped up with
Hmm.
pressing and all of that. After that, it took me almost 2 to 3 months to come back to dogs and deal with aggressive dogs because that was my first bite. And that well, not first bite, but a first proper bite. There were always scratches or a little first degree bite, where you have just a little broken skin. But this was a proper bite, which left a little bit of mark and both on my hand and at my head. So it took me 3 to 4 months to get over it, come back on the field, and then I got this dog again. Called him to a place of our this thing, a neutral territory, to work with him to expose him a little further. I gave him a few things as homework, but because of the kind of lifestyle they had, growing kids, becoming doctors, they were going to step out. There was no follow up from there, and that's why I said that this is the one case that I feel really sad about. And then there is
Hmm.
one whose YouTube video you will find on my YouTube channel. The first video where you'll see this tiny small Akash without any facial hair and all of that. So we had made that one YouTube video. So that dog is from the same hometown that I'm sitting right now. He was very,
Okay.
he would not let anyone come near him and all that. He was tied in one space. Right. So he was becoming more frustrated. And it took me literally 2.5 hours for him to settle around me. And after that, he just became the sweetest boy around me because he was that one dog who was telling me, "Hey boy, just come and save me, give me a nice walk, take me for a hike in this mountain behind you, and I'd be the happiest dog." And you would see all that in that video, like how he just quickly switched, right? And he
So
would
what do you think that connection was? Like, what do you think it was? Was it just the connection and how you dealt with it, or do you think there's like more to it?
so one thing as a fact is, see, dogs for animals, who you are is energy, right? So
Um,
what we do as professionals, or the material things don't really matter for that, right? So what our background, where we come from, that all doesn't matter. It's just what you are in that moment is very essential, right? So they bring you actually back to your grounded state, right? So I feel with a lot of dogs, right, it may not be with every dog, but with a lot of dogs your energy connects, it gets into sync,
wow.
right?
Right. Right.
So right, like if I'm not in the right state of mind in that moment, I may not be able to connect properly. But with some dogs, you're right in that moment, and I went there with that kind of. So intent is important. That's what we call in this dog psychology world as power of intention. If your intent
Wow.
is strong, your mindset is created around that intent. Your subconscious connects with it, and your actions are clear.
Wow. Okay.
Strong behind that action, right?
Wow.
Probably my actions were pretty clear. My body language was confident. My energy was confident. And that was something that he wanted. That my aggression, because see, aggression is not a problem, right? It is coming because of something underlying. Something is left
Right.
underlying in the dog. So some
Mhm. Right.
emotional stress that is left underlying. So for him, the emotional stress was that I'm tied up, nobody's taking me out. And now because I have reacted a couple of times, these guys are scared to take me out, and now it's a vicious cycle. It's like a negative feedback loop. I reacted.
Right.
Now people are scared because of that. They are not interacting only, and that is why I'm becoming more reactive.
Right.
Please
Right. Right.
with me confidently, show me the way, and I would become calm. He was that kind of a case. There was otherwise no nervousness. There was otherwise no trauma attached to him or anything as such. So the
Hmm.
moment I was able to, so you see that I'm holding a racket. Even now, when I watch that video again, right? It was almost 10 years, 11 years back. When I watched that video, I find a lot of mistakes what I did back then, right? But the energy and intent was right. Technically now I can point out the mistakes. Maybe if you show it to some other professional, they would also point out mistake. That even I'll agree to it. My team has also advised me कि वो निकाल देना वीडियो अभी बहुत पुराना है. मैं बोला नहीं रखा रखो उसको. That's my roots. That's where I've come from. I don't want
Absolutely. That's where you started.
I
That's where
wouldn't.
you started.
Yeah, because that was the first thing I recorded. First time I recorded some case or
Yeah.
situation. But
Yeah.
you interacting with the racket, he was reacting. He was now that I see ना ऐसा लगेगा कि racket की जरूरत ही नहीं थी. But तभी मैंने use किया था. फिर step by step I withdrew the racket away from him because he has bitten a lot of people over there while approaching. So the racket generally allows you to block a bite
Look. Yeah.
to the dog, how far can the dog go? So a lot of that nervous response was coming from him. And the
Hmm.
moment he saw that I'm not there to harm, slowly, he started dropping into his whatever the aggression he was holding, the accumulated energy, and he softened down. And the moment he softened down, his nose opened. And when the dog's nose opens up, right, because under stress a dog doesn't smell, he sees and hears, and this happens in threat perception. Like this allows them to perceive any kind of threat. That time the dog
Oh.
fight or flight. The moment the dog switches from fight and flight, the dog slowly starts opening up this, and the moment the nose opens up, that's where the dog's common sense comes in. Ki, okay, I need to sniff and I need to relax, and that's what
Okay.
happens. You could see in that
Okay.
video. I would share the link after this. That then I
Okay.
look step down, and then this dog comes, and then he sniffs me on my face. Again, that was a risky thing to do. Okay, that's why we've written do not attempt it because if one small thing goes wrong, he would throw a bite. But he sniffed and
Correct.
he moved away. And then slowly, he allowed me to do other things. Then we went on a walk. And I always say, if you want to create a bond, take a dog out for a walk. If you know how to communicate on the walk, the dog will start bonding with you faster.
Oh, wonderful. So, what would you say is the most rewarding thing about your work?
The most rewarding thing about my work is to see when people have that smile on their face, right? When people have that genuine happiness and that level of motivation that hey, we are not able to communicate with our human counterparts. But my dog is able to walk a pack of 15 dogs.
Hmm.
That level of happiness and pride and the kind of thing that we see, and the moment we see that the dog goes from fight, flight to a calm, surrendered, happy-go-lucky state of mind, that is super rewarding. That is something
Absolutely.
that creates that.
Absolutely. Of course. Of course. Now, tell us about Dog Mantra.
So,
Uh,
dog mantra.
yeah, Dog Mantra. So, how
Okay.
did you grow your audience? How do you engage with them? Less
Okay.
about a couple of fan moments, follower moments that you've had, because this is something that when dog parents they're so passionate about their child. I'm sure you get a lot of blessings all the time.
Yeah, definitely. So that's why we have a team now to manage the entire account, and Khushi does most of the job of the back end, right? So she continuously talking to people, continuously managing the DMs, right? What happens, right, is when I started, I didn't even think, right? And I think that's what has happened with me. When I was not looking for it, I kept getting it. So then when I look into something really hard, right, and then I remember, hey, it's not happening. Just stop looking at it; it will happen. That's what happened for the past few years. So, anyways,
uh,
I had this one because I am an observer and I am a learner. I always keep my eyes open because there's something uh, which I've been taught from my grandparents, from my mother, that they've always been saying: more than you talk, you should listen. More than you talk, you should observe, right? And then talk, right? So it makes more sense. Even obviously, I'm in that
absolutely.
phase, but that has helped even here. So when I started my Instagram, it was posts, and I would, start watching how are these reels going, what is this reel funda, what people are making. So I would watch. So when people would watch reels to entertain themselves, I would watch reels to educate myself. Ki what is
Right, right.
these
Hmm.
things are What is this trend that is being followed? And then I used to, instead of following the trend, I would just, so back then there was this fad of using music all the time, the trendy music. Even I think now a lot of people use, but it's not that used now. So
Hmm.
I use that one music that would be trending, or even sometimes I would like it, and then I would create videos around it. And that's how I started posting. And one big thing that I can proudly say that we do, I'm not sure if anyone else does it. I've not seen anyone else doing it, at least here in India. But one thing that we do is we have utter transparency on our page. So whenever we do sessions, you'll always see we have 8 to 10 stories per session coming up, which has a lot of
Oh,
impact on the session. Obviously, the session is 2 hours, so we can't upload the 2 hour length of videos, right?
right,
But
right,
put a lot of constant stories of what our work is all about. And that is something we've always been appreciated by clients or people who approach us, because they say that, hey, that helped us gain confidence, that helped us create trust with you, that helped us connect with your page better. Because
right, right,
seeing you more than just seeing what I'm doing through my day and just getting entertained, they were getting valued in. So there was
correct,
even
correct,
entertainment both attached to it. And
right,
also
right, right,
content nowadays, that's how we are trying to keep it. Like some are purely educational, some are value oriented. And because my team suggested, and we are also now sort of diving towards, now we've started diving towards the content creation aspect of it. We've
Hmm.
started entertaining reels also. Couple of reels or a reel a month types, which is purely entertainment, like just for fun types.
Of course, of course. So when was the time that you found that okay, this account is growing and this is going somewhere, and viral is also happening. So what did that make you feel?
So if you ask me when that happened,
Slowly but surely moving towards becoming an influencer.
yeah. So I still I'm still not understanding what is like people say na you're there. I'm still not able to figure out what is there. Like you can't set the parameter, because the moment you feel this is one stage that you've crossed, you're like, no, we are not there. Another
Yeah,
stage.
yeah. Of
So
course. Huh,
but
huh, huh.
cross that 10K target, right? That's when I started getting that confidence ki, okay, we are creating some impact and we are reaching out to people. So
Of
when
course.
10K barrier, and after that there was one particular reel which is pinned on our this thing on our page. So these are
Hmm.
two days, beautiful dogs, beautiful pet parents, right? Like amazing pet parents. So they approached us for them fighting with one another, and because of that, stopping the fight, the female member of the pack, the mother, right? She got bit pretty bad. So
Oh.
we went, we did the session, we saw these two little scared doggos, right? And that first session interaction we recorded and we made it into like a vlog reel and we posted it. And it was just, me entering the house, seeing where they are, going into the room, leaving my scent over there, walking out. They picked up the scent. So this is what we talk about pressure and release. So these level of fearful dogs, I need to show my back. I need to approach with my back. I need to be very soft. Okay, keep my energy very low, lower myself, show them that I mean no harm, see if they've used their nose a little bit. I pick that up that they've used a little bit of their nose. I walk away from them. That is the pressure is released as a reward. You sniffed me, I walk away. That's a good thing.
Okay.
And in
Okay.
the video, you can see then the moment I walk away, after a couple of minutes, both of them step out and become relaxed. And
Oh,
that's
wow.
what I posted. And this one particular video gained us 70,000 followers.
Fantastic.
Crazy. Like now we've had more videos.
Power of authenticity there.
Yeah, so we had more viral videos after that, right? Like now,
Yeah.
recent
Yeah.
went up to like 32 million
Hmm.
views, right? But this was some views were only 7 or 8 million, I think so, if I'm not wrong. But the followers went into 70,000. That's why we realized, like, okay, it's so authenticity. Obviously, we had a lot of fun comments on it, right? But
Always do. I mean,
yeah, no, this particular reel actually had nothing controversial. It only had fun comments. So I had also pinned my comment down. Hey guys, keep it coming. It's fun. That's
okay.
like, oh my god, that one particular reel, sometimes it can just crack the algorithm and gain you so many people jumping on. Obviously, we may have lost a few followers from there because that keeps happening on Instagram, right? That's
Right.
a but it was crazy. It was a crazy thing that happened, and that's when we crossed that 100K mark.
Wonderful. Now, do you interact with your followers? Like, do you interact with, do
Yeah.
you
So
get time to do that or?
no, no, no. So I interact through comments. A lot of times my interaction is through comments. Uh,
Mhm.
I don't personally interact now a lot through DMs. I would
Oh,
interact through my stories. So these are the two modes that I interact. I used to interact using live sessions, but I've not been getting the time to do a proper live. But I'm soon going to again keep a Q&A live. Other than that, in stories, we keep this Q&A where people can ask questions, I will answer them, and stuff. So it's majorly stories and comments are the two ways that I interact mostly with
oh,
the.
cool. Cool. Now, aside from your dog world, what's your hobby?
So this was one hobby that obviously got converted into work. But apart from that, I personally had done theater. So I love acting.
Oh,
And
nice.
at the same time, I've also done my Visharad first level of tabla playing. So
Fantastic. Fantastic.
I've done, and I think that is also one of the reason why I'm enjoying this fun videos of content creation because I'm also getting to use that hobby side of mine into my work.
Creativity part is just, you can integrate that as well. Wonderful. Yeah. So, looking back, what's the biggest transformation that you see in your
In sorry, biggest transformation in.
that you see in yourself?
I think I've become more humble over the course of time, and I want to keep it that way. I want to maintain the humility. Uh, I was a different person back in college. I had a different kind of mindset. Working with dogs, understanding what Cesar Milan's philosophy is. See, why I keep taking his name, right? Even though there are a lot of controversies surrounding to it, a lot of things that even now, when I see back in the day, there were few things that were not exactly how it's supposed to be. But then when because I've researched about this person, now I know a lot of people that are close to him. I am constantly in interaction with people working with him. I have even done like how we are doing this call, right? I've done a podcast with his head trainer, Steve, Backleader Dog, right, on his channel, right, as a guest over there. So knowing him as it's crazy it's crazy influencing, in terms of how his childhood was, how as a person he grew, how he crossed the Mexican border, how he came to USA, how he grew his business, how he became what he became, and how he maintained himself through all the publicity and the entire growth that he had, right?
All of
So not just for his work as a dog person, but as a person in general, that has inspired me a lot and brought me more closer to humility and having an open-minded approach. So this open-mindedness is something that helped me a lot, and that is how I feel I have transformed over the years, and
I
I
think
want to
it's
keep.
important in life. Overall, I think that's
Yeah.
the most important thing in life. Absolutely. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, how do you define success?
I think we spoke about it a while back. Like for me, I don't know how to define success, right? If I'm being very honest, like I can't set a bar to it because the moment I set up it ends, right? So I feel success is into something where you keep learning till the last stage of your life. If you feel that your learning has stopped, your growth has stopped. So the success is.
Perfect. Very, very good. Yeah, yeah. True,
It's a
true.
cyclic thing, I think so. It's
I agree.
constantly
I agree.
happening.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's,
Yeah,
it's, 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 you continue that. There is nothing, it's not really a destination as such.
really a destination.
Yeah, good. Now, so what's next for Dog Mantra?
So for Dog Mantra, as of now, it's going to be a platform on Instagram, and it's going to be a platform to help pet parents and their pets. So as a dog behaviorist, I'll be running that. But apart from Dog Mantra, we've been working on a couple of projects. This is also one of the reasons why I've taken this break, right? So because the city life and my constant schedule with sessions and all, I've not been able to give a lot
Yeah,
of.
yeah, yeah. You're
So
going to get focused. Yeah.
really thinking out of the window, right? So we are working on an application, and we are also working on a boarding business. And
Wonderful.
there is a tech-oriented project that also will be jumping into soon. So that's not yet revealed, but it would be revealed soon once we have the plan of action ready. So there are these three projects.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Wonderful.
My
All the
first
best to you
point of.
for all of them.
Thank you so
Now
much.
let's dive into some rapid fire.
Definitely.
Okay. Dogs or puppies?
Puppies.
Favorite dog breed?
I would say India.
City life or countryside?
Countryside, definitely.
One dog movie you love?
Airbird.
Leash or no leash?
I would prefer no leash. But for,
Favorite comfort food?
but for
Okay.
people who use leash, I can't say
Okay.
loud as a professional.
True, true, true. One advice for dog parents.
Make sure whenever you get a puppy, do not just look at the face or at the breed of the puppy, but make sure that it suits your lifestyle. The energy requirements, the need of the puppy's breed, and its personality suits and matches yours. Only then get the puppy.
That's solid, solid one. Training session or content creation?
I think my content creation happens during training sessions, so it would be both.
It's kind of merged. Yeah, yeah. Netflix show you're watching now?
I had started adolescence, but now since I'm here, I don't think so. I'll be able to watch it. Once I'm back, I might finish it.
Three things always in your bag.
I don't carry a bag, but I would always have this one bottle of spirit in my pocket because whenever we get bitten, right, the immediate
Right, right.
step is there to disinfect the wound is that.
A cause close to your heart.
A what?
A cause that's close to your heart.
So that would definitely be solving the human dog conflict issue that we are facing in India. And this is something also that we are working on at the moment. And I hope it's going to come
Wow.
for the same.
Favorite travel destination?
Goa, Sawantwadi, my hometown.
Right there. What's your mantra in life?
I think keep learning and what the mantra we've kept for dog mantra, which is guide, direct, motivate. So guide others, motivate others, give directions what you get, and keep helping out people.
Very good. Very good. Wonderful, Akash. It was so nice chatting with you.
Same here.
And I think we've covered most of it, but we can go on and on. But I think, we
Definitely.
can wrap it up now. Fabulous talking to you and all the best for everything in life.
Thank you so much.
And if you can also say something about Global Influencers Hub, will be wonderful.
So I just want to give a small message out there to people, because we live in a society, right, which is always there are always divisions, right? So there will be dog lover, non-dog lover. There is someone who is on the other side, on this side. Let's try to be on the side of humanity, because if we as humans who have got the responsibility of help, like nurturing the nature that we have, right? As kids, we grew up with the motto called as nurture nature for a better future. That is something that we are not seeing right. So if
Yeah,
we as humans or we as even influencers or people out there in the media industry, if we can start creating awareness around these aspects rather than just the drama aspect and the entertainment aspect, right? If we also start focusing on these aspects of
the
nurturing
value aspect, I think the value part. Right,
nature for a better future, then
right.
definitely we would leave behind a legacy for people ahead, because we shouldn't just think of ourselves.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Think the way things are happening, I don't think so. 100 years down the line, our future generations would be able to survive. We would leave them with nothing, right?
Very true, very true,
It's something that,
very true.
when as influencers, we should always keep those things in back of the mind and keep making people more aware that these things need to be taken into consideration.
Right, right. So tell us something about Global Influencers Hub platform. That how did you like interacting with us and all that?
It was awesome. In fact, the whole conversation that we started, it was very seamless. Like, I think I myself might have troubled you with some delays,
No, no,
but
not at all.
it,
It was a very, very nice conversation that I was completely enjoying and into it.
I'm glad. I'm glad. But it was great. It was nice talking to you at the moment as well, right? It was very comforting. I didn't feel that I'm talking to somebody, meeting someone for the first time, right? So that
Yeah,
was good. Made me feel more comfortable. And at the same time, I checked your profile also. The thing that y'all are doing, getting people on one platform, showcasing them, that's really a good thing, right? And it's something that would help a lot of people out there, a lot
absolutely.
of budding influencers out there, right?
Yes.
So that's
Thank you
great.
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank
And we'll be in touch.
Definitely, definitely.
Okay.
Thank
Bye bye.
you. Bye. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
ঠিক ছিল?